How do we manage performance in the remote environment? Hello everyone, I'm Sarah Brummett. And you might be thinking, well, we're 2 years nearly into this global health crisis. Shouldn't we have worked this out by now? My view is that more than ever, we need to revisit this question. I'm hearing a lot, particularly of late, from leaders and organisations saying things along the lines of, well, I don't want to lose good people and there's a war for talent out there. Or, yeah, but this is a tougher kind of conversation to have in the remote environment, so let's wait until we're back in the office. My thoughts are these. Of course, managing people remotely when it comes to their performance is so much more than those discussions that are about underperformance. However, we need to make sure we're doing it right if we're going to keep our best people and engage them to deliver as we embark on another year of COVID-19. Some of the things are exactly the same as when we're managing performance face-to-face. Some of them are different. I'll talk about both and get very practical. And remembering, of course, that you've heard me quote before the Harvard Business Review research that says, in the remote environment, we are 2.5 times more likely to perceive incompetence, mistrust, and poor decision making. Plus, it'll take between 5 and 10 times as long to address our concerns. So the first thing we need to do, if we're going to manage performance remotely, is create a climate of psychological safety. What on earth do I mean by that? What I mean is getting curious with our team about what exactly they need in order to engage in a conversation about their performance positively and constructively. The answers to that could be practical. Let's not have this discussion when I'm trying to get the kids out the door from school. Or it could be, you know what, can we make sure that we make time to talk about what I'm doing right before we talk about those key performance indicators that I'm currently missing? Whatever it is, all I know is that it will be different for different members of your team, and we need to lead the conversation to understand exactly what they want to feel more comfortable and engaged in a constructive discussion about their performance, and to do it not only once, but to do it regularly, of course. Second thing, being present. I've had some instances recently where I'm observing managers coach members of their team, and it's painfully obvious that they're not fully present. Just got to get that taken care of, just got to answer this email, do this message, and all of that sort of nonsense. The reality is that how we spend our time and how we spend our money tells the world what we care about. There's nothing else. So one of the biggest compliments that we can give our team is to say, I am fully, completely, 100% absorbed in this discussion because it's important. Now, we weren't very good at this when we were meeting in person, and we've got worse over the last 2 years. We need to dial up this skill. Thirdly, let's talk about objectives, outcomes, measurable sources of value, which for our customers, for our teams, for our colleagues, for the business, we expect individuals to hit. I'm not talking about effort. I'm talking about outcome, what they've delivered. We've all heard the SMART acronym a number of times, I'm sure, over the course of our career. But our teams need those SMART metrics against which they should be held accountable, which leads me gloriously into one of those habits that it's too easy to get into, but particularly remotely. Don't micromanage. Hold them accountable and leave them to it. Make sure they've got the support and the resources they need, but do we need 18 trackers to make sure they're on track? 50 million catch-up meetings? Yes, we need check-in points, of course, but do we need them as frequently? because that might indicate that we don't trust sufficiently that they're going to hit what we've asked them to hit in terms of outcomes within the time frame we need them to achieve it by. Revisit that. Too many trackers, too many touch points, quick catch-ups tend to say, I don't really think you can do this. So I'm going to take more and more of your time on your calendar to talk about how you're not really doing this. Empower them. What do they need? What is it in terms of scope of decision making or resources? Are they clear on what that scope is so that they can get on with it? Or have we been gloriously opaque? It's a question for us as much as it's a question for them. Catch them doing things right. It's very easy for high-performing individuals to focus on the reds, the things that aren't working. But managing performance remotely is equally about celebrating, appreciating, and giving thoughtful, constructive feedback around all the things they're doing well, as much as it is around offering insight into those things where they're currently wide of the mark. Finally, coach. This isn't a selling and telling environment all the time. If we really, and particularly with those individuals who are your top talent, who are nailing every number you put in front of them, the easiest temptation in the world is to say, you know what, I'll leave you alone. Or I'll just flatter you and bathe you in the glory of your own magnificence. Beware of that, because it can create a climate of, yes, I am fantastic. And that leads to complacency. Elite athletes, elite performers want stretch as well as support in the same measure. Let's not try to fix their problems. Let's start coaching them and asking them questions that get them thinking. Because that is how we keep them engaged within our team and continuing to perform. So look, managing remotely, there's a lot to it. But there are 6 things that in terms of strategies and skills, I'd really strongly encourage you to revisit this year. And let me know how you get on.